They're in storage?
Yes, they are.
What's the name of the storage?
It's actually at the place where I'm living, in the basement. That's the storage. My stuff is in storage also down there. I'm using my ex-mother-in-law's house as that, because I have a lot of my stuff down there also.
What's your counterclaim?
Okay, they lived with us rent-free. Okay.
6 weeks, right.
Yeah. They made me lose my deposit on the house because they're little bickering, arguing, fussing, fighting all the time. And I lost my deposit because they got too upset at each other and him throwing stuff or punching the walls or whatever it is. I lost my deposit on my house.
I mean your security deposit?
Yes, I do.
Did you make any holes in the walls?
No, ma'am, I did not. Her and her boyfriend be fighting all the time. That's where the holes came from.
Go ahead.
They'd sleep all day. I even got her job at where I was working.
Would you tell me what they owe you money for?
What they owe me money for? They lived there rent-free. They ate all the groceries. The only groceries they brought in, I guess, was at like 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. They'd bring them in snacks.
Well, what was your arrangement with them?
My arrangement was $325 a month, and it was supposed to be including everything but food, which is gas and electric, stuff like that.
When did you make this arrangement with them?
Arrangement was made with them in July, the beginning of July. Other than that, but they, I'd watch his son when they were up doing whatever they wanted to.
What money did you give them towards the expenses of running the house?
Well, we did only give them $40. We had no agreement before we moved in.
Let's say you didn't.
Okay.
What about food?
She said she took care of the food. We could eat whatever we wanted. Her cabinets were always stocked. As long as if we made dinner, we made enough for everybody, and they would do the same thing.
Well, who bought the food?
She did.
Why should she support you?
We actually, when I started working, we went out to eat like every night. We started keeping food up in our bedroom. That's why the fridge was in our bedroom that my mom bought us, because we felt like we weren't allowed to eat there. All we did eat there was like eggs, cereal, macaroni and cheese, just side items. We didn't get into any meat, any expensive things whatsoever.
What difference does it make? That's food. Why should they support you?
That's just what she told us when we moved in. That
Why would she do that? Why would she do that? I don't believe that you necessarily had a rent arrangement with them, but I certainly believe that you didn't have an arrangement with them where you were going to support them like they were your children for the 6 weeks that they were there. And even if they paid minimally to cover some of the expenses, $50 a week, which is minimally what you absorbed while you were there, that would be $300 for the 6 weeks that you lived with them. I think that the rest of your stuff here maybe is worth $500. The difference in that is $200, and that's what you're going to get, period. Plus the remainder of the stuff that she has that's in storage. That's all. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
They're actually looking for Craig right now, so.
She's lying. She's lying about everything.
Well, because they want to have questions for him on the threats and everything.
She's just full of it.
Threatening me when I left the store. They were swerving. They hit my children.
I never threatened her.
Because I can't go out in public with.
344 on the calendar in the matter of Burke versus Boma.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks have seats, please.
Ms. Burke, the defendant is a former boyfriend of yours. It is your claim that he kicked your car. He was angry. The defendant has what is an interesting defense, which I will get to in a moment. When did this happen?
This happened on September 9th.
Don't ask me. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah, it happened on September 9th.
Where were you?
We were driving, and it happened in a parking lot in Racine in Fazino's parking lot.
Well, tell me about it, Ms. Burke. Tell me slowly.
Okay. We weren't going out at the time, so I said I was going to keep a civilized relationship and take him to find some jobs at the mall. So we went to the mall, and he got some applications, and on the way back, he was going through my CDs in the back of my car.
He was sitting in the back?
He was sitting in the back.
You were driving?
I was driving, and my witness was in the front passenger seat.
Go ahead.
So he was going through my CDs, and he stole from me in the past, so I told him to stop going through my stuff, and he refused. So
What did he say?
He says, no, I'm not going to quit going through your stuff. So then I pulled the car over, and I said, well, then get out. And he says, no, I'm not going to get out. So then I said, okay. And I got out of the car, and I moved the seat because it's a two-door car. So I moved the seat so he could get out. And he said, if I get out, I'm going to mess up your car. And I said, okay, then get back in. So I kind of pushed him back in the car.
How did you push him?
He was halfway out of the car.
And you pushed him back in?
Because he said he was going to mess up my car. I just kind of pushed him back in the car. It was nothing serious. You know, I didn't do anything to hurt him. I just didn't want him to mess up my car. So then he got out, and then he pushed me out of the way. And then I pushed him back into the car.
Now, how did you push him back into the car?
I just kind of pushed him.
Go ahead.
And then he kicked the car, pushed me out of the way one more time, kicked the car, and ran.
Okay. Now, Mr. Boma, you acknowledge that you kicked the car.
Yes.
But you tell me your version of the events, sir.
Well,
you were going through her CDs in the back of the car.
Yes, because we were going out for about a year and a half, and I had gave her some of my CDs, and you know we was going through some difficult times, so you know we was fighting.
So you were looking for your CDs.
My CDs.
And she told you to stop, and you said no. She stopped the car. She said get out. That's where we're up to, because that you agree with.
Yes.
Okay. Now you tell me your version of the events from that point, sir.
Okay, and then as she told me to step out of the vehicle, she told me to get out. I said no. I had gave you money to take me to these places and back to my house. She said it the second time. I was trying to get out of the car, and then she had pushed me. That's when my witness came in. He seen that.
Don't tell me what he saw.
Then I got out of the car, and then she had pushed me, and then she slapped me across my face. And
She slapped you.
yes, and then that made me angry, but I know I'm not to hit a woman. You know, I was raised really good not to hit a woman. So then after
kicked
she
the
slapped
car.
me, instead of hit a girl, take out my frustration, I had kicked her car.
At what point did your witness come on the scene?
When he was driving down the road,
He was driving down the road. Yeah, go ahead.
and he was like a few cars behind, like about 5 cars behind.
Keep
And then-
going.
and he thought that I might be with her, so he was following to see if I was with her, and then he seen that
Don't tell me what he saw. I'm just asking you where he was.
he was coming down the same road, but he was a couple cars behind. So as I stepped out of the
he
car,
pulled into the parking lot.
he didn't pull in the parking lot.
He didn't.
No.
He was just driving by.
Yes, and he
He was
recognized.
driving by.
It was a traffic jam. It was
Tell me your name.
my name is Cesar Angeles. I was like 6, 7 cars behind him. I seen him driving. He called me earlier in the day. I was at the studio. And I seen
What
him,
studio?
Greenhouse Records.